welcome to my channel. My name is Acrylic and today I'm going to show you how we went from this to this. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the inspiration behind this painting. I'm a vocalist on cruise ships and I've been to Panama and I took some of the most beautiful pictures of the sunset there, and I knew once I took them, I wanted to paint them. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe below and stay tuned for more. To start off our painting, we begin from the sky. The colours that we use in this area will reflect later on the colours that we use to create the forest. We begin by creating the background to give a base to our painting, mainly using lemon yellow and medium yellow. Next step, draw the horizon with a straight line across your canvas. I would also suggest you use a thicker brush when you're painting your base rather than the thin one that I'm using, because this will save you a lot of time. I then added the blue to my canvas, which was a little bit too dark, so I had to add more titanium white to brighten it up. The yellow from the one side of the canvas to the blue from the opposite side should feel like one. They should blend together as if they are the same tone. So when you add the blue to your painting, mix it with a dash of the same yellow that you used in your sky, but not too much, as that will create a very green effect. Use titanium white to help you blend the sky colors. The land that we want to create at the horizon reflects the colors of the sky behind it. So I added lemon yellow with my titanium white and a dash of brilliant red to create that effect. As I moved to the right of the canvas, I added a little bit of blue to the mix to give it that shadow effect. Add some lemon yellow to help mix the colors together. With very soft circular brush strokes, I begin to add some clouds. Of course, the day I decided to paint outside was an extremely windy day, so I had some issues with controlling the canvas. So I decided it was best to change locations, so we moved indoors. Where the sun is located has to be the brightest point on your canvas. The closest point of the cloud to the sun were the brightest, that's where I added some titanium white with some lemon yellow. When you're creating mountains, you want the furthest mountain to be the brightest one. And as the mountains come closer, they get darker. Now, I've created one mountain, and in that one mountain, I've added white. By adding white, I create a different mountain. By doing this, I have the same colors, just a different tone. Then when I wanted the shade of the mountain to get darker, I used the same colors that I used for the brighter side, but I also added some darker tones. Now I found that purple was one of the missing ingredients that I needed, so I added a little bit of purple and I added a bit of red oxide and a bit of yellow, and it gave me the exact effect that I needed. Now I do need to apologize because there's a video missing. I'm not sure where it's gone. So the only thing I've done here is added a few clouds and started with the green background to the forest. The further away the clouds are, the lighter the brush strokes will be. The main green colors that I've been using for the forest are light green, which is essential for that brightness, Hooker's Green, which gives a really nice rich tone to the forest, and also I've used a bit of phthalo green mixed with lemon yellow. As I am using acrylic paints and I do live in a hot climate country like Cyprus, the paints do dry up quite fast. So when I'm using block colors to create my base, I like to add the paint directly to the canvas. It really doesn't matter how perfectly painted the base is, as you are going to paint on top of it. You're just using that as a base. Don't forget to be coloring the sides of your painting as you're going along. Using the yellows from the top, you want to bring those colors down. Like that, you will be able to capture where the sun hits the leaves. Now I'm going to use a round brush to create the effect of the trees. It's a really simple technique. You simply dab the canvas, just like this. And just like that, you add brightness with the yellow tones. Bringing those warm sunset tones down is what brings this painting to life. You want to create depth by showing that the trees at the back are smaller than the trees at the front. You can do that by using a thinner brush, using exactly the same technique, just a thinner brush. The further down we go, the closer the trees are, so we'll be using a thicker brush for that. But also we'll be using a thinner brush to capture the details within the closer trees. In this painting, we want to capture the top of the trees. You can achieve this by creating messy half-crescent moons. Next, we're going to use some lemon yellow, brilliant red and titanium white. We're going to use this combination to create the highlights at the top of the trees very close to the horizon. I'm sketching a diagonal line to indicate where the brightness of the trees ends and where the shadows begin. It doesn't matter what color you use to sketch this line, as you will cover it with trees. Now don't be afraid to play with the colors in your palette. Always keeping in consideration the colors from the sky and wanting to bring those tones down onto the forest. It took me some time to experiment with the different combinations and the different tones. It's literally a little bit of chemistry, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and seeing what it will create. So try out different combinations and see what works for you best. To create the darker trees closer to the horizon, I've used phthalo green as well as Hooker's Green, carrying on with this dabbing effect. To create this painting, you really do need to be patient, as it is dab by dab, tree by tree, creating it layer by layer. Using the thinner round brush is perfect for extra texture, especially when you're working on the highlights. This is the first point where I'm using black on the canvas, and there's a great contrast between the darkness below the trees where the sun can't reach, and of course the brightness of the sun itself in the sky. I've noticed that this tree in the picture had a different tint to it than the other trees, so I added a little bit of brown, a little bit of a burnt umber with yellow to create this effect in combination with a bit of Hooker's Green. As we're painting the trees towards the right of the canvas, this is where we start to introduce some brown tones. For example, I've added a little bit of a burnt umber to them, as well as some burnt sienna. Even though that these might look like little green clouds floating on a black background, it will all make sense very shortly. The only tree that was different in this painting was a palm tree. To create the palm tree, I created an imaginary black spot, and from that black spot, which would be the center of the palm tree, my brush strokes were going outwards. Now you're going to start with a darker green as a base, and then you will add lighter green to give it highlights and create that 3D effect. The little bundle of cuteness you see there, that is Elmira. More often than not, she does want attention. She decided to come and say hello. Now that I have completed all the trees on the canvas, I will be adding the trunks. I will be using burnt umber, purple and titanium white to create the tone of brown that I'm looking for. I chose a thinner round brush to create the branches. We will now join the floating green clouds by creating the tree. Now the consistency of the paint to create smooth lines, it should be enough paint with the right amount of water. So what you need to do, add some drops of water to the mixture of paint that you have and mix it up well so its consistency looks a little bit like mousse. If the consistency of the paint is see-through, then that is too much water and you'll need to add more paint to it. When I took a step back, I felt that my lines were a little bit too thick, so I went around with a flat brush with some black paint and made my trunk and branches a little bit thinner. To finish off this beautiful painting, take a thin brush and go over adding any last highlights, any last little details that you want to give just to make your painting pop. And that's it. You've created a beautiful piece from Panama. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe below and stay tuned for more. See you soon.